G'day, guys, and welcome to the Centre Bounce. We're going to be talking about the players that we are keeping a close eye on in these pracky games. Stay tuned. Yes, Big J, we sort of highlighted it. We alluded to it in the team previews, our updated team reveals. These are the players who we want to keep a close eye on because if they have the right roles and are in the right form, they could be excellent selections for us.
Oh, 100%. And we talk about kind of preseason watching. Your research that you do in the preseason is what dictates really how well you do throughout the season. Because even if you don't end up picking all these players, you're like, hey, this is my next upgrade target. I know he's going to blow up. Or, hey, is this role change a real thing? Or do we know if it's a player being out? That kind of thing.
Yep, exactly. So we're not going to eat into your time. We're going to get right into it as we always do. As you can see, it is a full team, basically, worth of players who we're keeping on the watch list.
How much cash do we have left in the bank?
Still got 116K.
Almost.
Mate, let's use it. Let's use it. Gibson, let's use it. Get in there. Get in there, mate. All right, we're going to got a player there. But we'll start with Sicily.
Yeah, definitely. Barras has come in. Battle's come in. There's a lot of question marks around where he plays. Personally, I think they're going to play him as they've played him in previous years, kind of rotating forward or, when key forwards have been out, stuck in the forward line. Looks like a lot of preseason knowledge and news is like he's going to be there as well. So big watch for those people. I think you had him in your team at one point, Joe. Big watch to see what he does because, heck, if he loses that defensive role, he might not be a great selection for us in Supercoach.
Yep, and if he's playing as the third tall, then he can average 115. He's done it in the past. This guy's capable of being a top 6 defender without a shadow of a doubt. All depends on the role. We then get to your boy, Kobe McKercher. Made his debut into the game last season, playing off half-back. Beautiful ball user, Zach Merritt 2.0. Fortunately, did have some issues with his body. Copped an injury that took him out of the side. They tried to trial him around the ball a little bit where he couldn't find the pill. Definitely did a lot of his work off of half-back. Is he going to be in that role again this year? You've added Caleb Daniel. You've obviously still got the Fish, absolutely dud of a footballer. I don't know why you have him on the field. Will Clarko see sense, see reason, realize that he sucks, and play Kobe McKercher behind the ball? That's something they're going to keep an eye on.
Yeah, 100%. Next one up on the list is Big Trent Rivers. Now, we've seen and we've spoken a lot about Melbourne's current injuries. No Viney, no Brayshaw, no a few other players in the team at the moment. Rivers did play a lot of mid-time last year and had some massive scores. So a bit of a track to see over the preseason where he's going to be playing. And then as well, hey, are they going to play A team, B team, and then figure out which is the best 22? Is Rivers even good in the midfield? It's a lot of question marks, mate. 460K, there's a lot of juice around this spot, Joe, especially the next couple of players coming up. And if you pick the right ones, mate, you're onto a winner.
Yeah, no doubt he's capable of some good scores. Obviously, Petrarca being moved out of the midfield, perhaps more forward potentially this year. Viney injured. Some news about Langdon potentially coming into the midfield as well. So the midfield mix over there at the Melbourne Demons up for grabs. He certainly can push his case. Jaden Short, the ever-reliant, I suppose, half-back there, ever-reliable for the Richmond Tigers. Definitely a polarizing selection when you talk to Richmond supporters. You'll have some that say they're on him. You'll have others that say they hate him and don't really want him in the side. But from preseason reports, it appears that he is in the in the driver's seat for that distributor halfback role, which could be value at 442K without an early buy. So one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if the ball's going to be down in Richmond's back line every probably 2 or 3 minutes of the game, the best distributor, mate, it could be a primo again, Joe. Matt Roberts, another one who looks to be playing halfback, has told random super coaches and people who interviews, hey, I'm going to be playing in this super coach friendly position. Just a big watch and see. I know a lot of us have got a Mills as a locked-in player as well. And do we want to take the risk of having multiple same buy-round players, especially alongside us that have a Whitfield as well. If he ends up being the right player, we've seen it last year, he can put out 100-plus numbers pretty easily. Can he do that again for us? Big watch and see over the preseason games, I think.
Yep, absolutely. We know Coxie likes him, but we'll see just how much he likes him. Got here Sam DeConning. I don't know how much Chris Scott likes him because he's got him playing as a ruck now. He's taken him away from that nice defensive role, and he's now got him playing in the ruck. He's bulked up. He's added 7 kilos from reports. I don't know how that's public knowledge when they've banned the use of weights now and disclosing of weights, but apparently he's added some kilos. He's been training in the ruck. He's also had some stints where he's playing behind the ball. Does he get enough ruck time to be able to make us a lot of money very quickly? That's the question. You're not looking to keep him. You're definitely looking to start him, hopefully get on a very nice run with some ruck contests where he, average 95, I'm pretty sure, top of my head, for games where he had some bulk minutes playing in the ruck. Can he do that again and make 150K pretty quickly? We'll have a see.
Hey, mate, he could end up being a keeper. You never know. 360K keeper. Could work. You never know. More rucks in your team, the better. Ben Jepson, we just threw him in because he's cheap. Gold Coast are looking for the player, so we'll wait and see. Mate, he's in my team at the moment. If I can get a 99K playing rookie this year, I'll be very, very happy. So, yeah, a bit of a fluff, but that's okay.
One of the few that seem likely to play, training on a wing. He's an accumulator, I think, if I recall from the VFL, and hopefully he plays.
Good, I think.
Yeah, would be pretty good. This guy's an accumulator as well. Nick Dacos, absolute superstar. No denying his talent and ability. Could go down as the GOAT. You never know by the end of his career. Just a pleasure to watch him go about it. We'll have to see how he goes about it with his foot. Preseason reports say that he's looking good, that he's playing in all of those intra-clubs that took place, and we're going to have a look and see. How is he going to manage the tag with his foot over the preseason? It will be interesting to see.
Yeah, definitely. I think as well, one of the concerns I have, obviously, if Houston was playing, things might change a little bit as well. But with Perryman and a couple of others coming into this team, a few more rookies coming in, what happens with Dacos? Is he going to play pure mid like Sheasel? Most likely will. Is he going to move forward? Positioning things as well, because it's a lot of money you're spending on a player.
Yeah, exactly. Christian Petrarca comes in next with his body, obviously. Big question mark. Some latest reports are saying that he's not going to be participating in the Pracky games, so it will be hard to track. It will be relying very much on track watchers as well as other reports that come out. But obviously, if you're not participating in any of the preseason games, then that really raises question marks, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, is he one tackle away from spending a few weeks off field? Maybe that's what they're trying to avoid at the moment. 556K, there's some other options there. And speaking of other options, Jordan Dawson is currently fit, currently playing in an Adelaide intra-club. And one of the big questions we have, half-back, mid, playing on the wing, what's happening? Jordan Dawson could be a very juicy selection, especially for those people who, think that Adelaide's kind of early run could lead them to some great success. The AFL set them up with a few easier teams to play. You got St Kilda there, few injuries at St Kilda. Jordan Dawson roaming through that midfield. I know he was one of your selections last year, Joe, that kind of didn't work out that well, but maybe it's Jordan Dawson redemption arc for us in 2025.
Could very well be. Talking about the Saints, could end up with a Windhager tag right off the bat, which would obviously really suck as well. But if he's got the role and he has his proper kicking boots on this year, could be anything, and with a very good buy. The Adelaide buy probably is one of the best ones. Come to Will Day, he really transformed the Hawks and got them on a massive run the back half of the year. This guy is always, unfortunately, on the receiving end of various innocuous injuries that aren't really soft tissue injuries. He's had a wonderful preseason to date. He's their number one mid, you would imagine, has been quite dominant. He's primed to really break out and be among the top scorers for Supercoach. Is it this year, though? That's the question.
Yeah, 100%. Another person that we definitely have questions on is Adam Chera. Now, I'm not going to comment on weddings and no people showing up, but
that's a massive question. That's a massive question, Big J.
He did have the Qatar treatment. So, heading over to Doha and whatnot, you'd hope he ended up coming back better. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for big Sean Darcy. But, yeah, Chera's definitely popped out massive numbers before. Can we get a 110 average? Potentially. I think a lot of it has to come down to himself, but also Carlton. Last year, when he came back for periods of time, it felt like he had almost lost that role a little bit. Hopefully that means, though, when they've had a few more preseason games to start off with, that it's going to work out quite well for him. So massive watch for a lot of people. Definitely one of those people alongside potentially a Will Day who, had that potential to come out and score a 110 that I think a few other people, maybe not, it's not Ashcroft's year, but it could be Chera's year for those people that select him.
Yep, exactly. This is one of the mid prices that a lot of people are locking in based on his performances at the Giants last year. James Peatling, is he going to be playing on the ball? How much midfield time is he going to get? If he's playing a dud role where he's playing more half forward than we would like, or maybe more on a wing than we would like, then at 350k, obviously not something that you want to pay. But if he's getting a lot of midfield minutes, which we think that he will, they've added Cumming, they've moved out, Laird from the midfield as well. So Peatling, yeah, exactly. So if Peatling's getting on ball minutes, that's something that we want to see.
Yeah, mid prices work out. Another one that could work out for us is Ollie Hollands there. I love that segue. Nick Newman and a few other people have definitely gone down, and Hollands has been pegged as one of the people who could come in and take that spot. Has been training down back as well. But big watch and see. It's a lot of money for a half-backer that might not be the number one. So you have to track him through the preseason. There's no round zero for Carlton this year. We don't get a free look in a real AFL game. So you've got to watch him, training reports, everything. There's definitely space for people like him in your team in Supercoach. Hence, a lot of people picking a Peatling. So could work out for Holland's owners this year. Big watch and see.
It could. Then get to Isaac Cumming, someone that obviously referred to in talking about Peatling. He's come out and said that he's going to be playing on a wing. Very disappointing. It just becomes a question of how much wing time he gets. Obviously, did a lot of great work playing off half back as well for the Giants, where that's probably where he got more of his scores. So is he going to play? How much time does he get back there? Or are they really going to be relying on people like Worrell, for example, or Malira at the Crows? If that's the case, they're also two that you might really want to keep an eye on. Worrell and Malira, if they're going to be, or Miller, however you pronounce it, going to be playing off half back for Adelaide. If Cumming is going to play more on the wing, that's just the question that we've got to keep an eye on.
Yeah, my only problem with Cumming at the moment is just there's a plethora of very, very good 200k rookies. And, we're going to pay up a tiny bit more to get Cumming in. Big watch and see. Tom De Koning is another one, Joe, that we are looking. I think I'm getting shafted with all these Carlton players at the moment. I think I've done all three back to back to back. Tom De Koning, what happens with Pitnet? Is he going to be number one? I think it's the number one question on everyone's lips at the moment. Yep. Gawn, Cherry, even Nan Curvis are very, very expensive. De Koning is really that beautiful price point that a lot of us are looking for. If he plays, what happens in this team? And we're going to be able to guide it as well. Not so much straight from Pitnet, but also how many other tools that they play in the team. If they're struggling for tools, Pitnet's going to go in because De Koning's versatile. He can play forward. He can play in other spots. If they're playing a lot of tools, if Silvani, who we haven't put in our forward line, comes in, Haynes comes in, and a couple of other players, De Koning could be set to go. And it probably ends up being the number one ruck selection in Supercoach this year.
Oh, the value would be off the charts.
Yep.
Liam Reedy, he's someone who you ask Damo from the mailbag, he will tell you, and he's been saying, if Sean Darcy does not ruck, it will be Reedy who will be rucking. We have confirmation that Sean Darcy will not be participating in the earlier rounds of the season, which means Liam Reedy is one that we all ought to keep an eye on. He's very cheap, rookie priced, but he is not a rookie. He's been doing his apprenticeship over there at the Waffle and appears ready to go. So keep an eye on seeing, whether or not he maintains that spot as the ruck, or if it's going to be Jackson, for example, that ends up pushing his way and being the ruck. They seem to be using Jackson almost as an extra midfielder at this point in time. We'll have to see whether or not Reedy keeps his spot. Same thing with Boyd, whether or not he continues to keep his spot as the main ruck. These are the two rookie price rucks that we hope that we can see.
Yeah, definitely. Boyd's one of those guys. They picked him up as a rookie selection, obviously, hence the 99K price tag. And Marshall potentially gets stuck playing a bit more forward. I think just personally, him in Supercoach and just watching St Kilda, King really needs someone down there. And now that they've lost Membry, hey, Marshall maybe goes down there. Great contested mark. Obviously, he's quite high up to the sky being a ruckman. So maybe Boyd comes in and does what he needs to do. Hey, 99K Rook playing Rookie Joe, that mains ruck, cash in the dollars. So don't pick him at your own mistake. But obviously, I think he's like the third most selected rookie or just player in the ruck line at the moment. So people have got their mindset. Who's in the forward line, Joe?
Start off with your ex-boy, the horny man, the horny one, Jason Horne-Francis. Another preseason under his belt. Started a lot hotter than the way he ended. His post-buy run was nothing short of pretty bad. Lost a lot of points. Calling into question, is it his fitness? Is he not quite just ready to take that next step? We've seen players like Tom Green, for example, struggle to maintain their age throughout the whole season. Those burst-type players who are very contested in nature. Are we going to see another step forward from the horny one in the midfield? Ken Hinckley says that he wants to see him play more on ball. He already played quite a bit on ball last year, so how much more he will play will be left to be seen over this preseason period, so one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, definitely. I think similar to a Rankin, they just both offer tremendous value. I mean, if both can come out and average a 115, heck, you're laughing at that kind of price. So Rankin definitely has had stints. Only problem with Rankin is he either gets suspended or he gets injured. And we felt that a lot last year for the people, especially the ones that I think it was suspension first, came off the suspension, played 2 fantastic games, and then injury and then suspension again. So really kind of got to get his mindset right. But Adelaide, as we spoke about with Dawson, Peatling, and Cumming, they're ready to explode. They've got a good fixture. Rankin could just submarine and then dominate. So one to watch during the preseason games. That could be very, very good for us.
Yep, then we got Liam Baker. Might be surprised that we've got him on the list, but moving across to the West Coast Eagles, and he's been given a role, and it is a very good role at that. This stupider halfback, and he said in a recent interview that the coach wants to keep him playing in that role. What's been Liam Baker's biggest strength and weakness at the same time is his ability to be a Mr. Fix-It and play a number of different roles. Jack of all trades, master of none. It appears he's been given a task, and it is a very friendly Supercoach scoring task. We got to see how well he performs in that task. Does he fit the mold, or is it going to be simply more of the governor who's going to be doing that, and Liam Baker is second fiddle to him? So that's one that we're going to keep an eye on as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think, as you say, versatility is a bit of a tricky one, and probably similar to a Richmond. They both come from Richmond, but similar to a Richmond, the ball's going to be down in West Coast backline a lot. So it could end up working out well for them. Bailey Smith is the next one up on the list. The world's worst kept secret of who's getting traded clubs. Cotton On knew 3 years ago. That AFL world knew last year. Bailey Smith, does he play mid? Does he play wing? Does he play forward? Coach has come out and said he's playing a mix of them. Just more of a figuring out where these type of players play kind of affects his price point. He's almost too expensive not to pick if you think he's going to be a keeper. But in the same essence, if he scores really well, you don't want to miss out at 380K. So one to definitely track during the preseason.
Yeah, if he's going to be a sub 60% CBA player, then and you decide and you fade him, then that's a wonderful fade because he's so widely owned. And if he's getting less than 60% CBAs, then you're doing very well for your team. Same thing with Luke Parker. he's going to be, is it him? Is it Powell? Is it Simpkin? There's a few players there that could possibly be the third in line with the Wardlaw injury. Obviously, you're going to have the LDUs of the world and the Sheasels. They're locked in and loaded to go. The question then becomes, who's the third person? And when Wardlaw returns, who's the fourth person? So a few question marks over the midfield mix over there at the Roos, because you do have quite a few big body tough nuts that can play that defensive style of football in the midfield, which means that Parker isn't necessarily required there all the time, and he can provide you a different look at ground level in the forward line if he's playing at half forward. So how much midfield time Parker gets will certainly be on the agenda.
Yeah, he's definitely in my team at the moment. I think he'll score okay. He could end up being a primo. Outside of last year, he was, I think, averaging 98 plus. So if you can do that at 343k, you're laughing. Last one in our forward line is big Hugo Garcia. Now, we talk a lot about Philippou being out and what opportunities that gives to us. Hugo Garcia has played already. We know what he can do. VFL stats off the charts. This kid, I think, was averaging 115 or something. Huge tackler, dominant through the midfield. Some reason Ross, the boss, just hated him last year. Played a couple of games and was, see you later. Well, now you're forced to play him, and he's dominant. So 245k, I think he's going to do very well in the preseason games and should line up for us in our forward lines. A little bit more expensive than some of the cheaper mids or the first-round draftees from this year, but you know what you're getting, mature age body and a team that's desperate for some wins. So he's currently locked in my team, Joe.
Yeah, I got him in my team as well. Definitely one to keep an eye on, because in the preseason, it's, a lot of the track watchers are saying, especially after the Philippou injury, it's McRae, Steele, and Hugo. These are the three that just seem to be lining up in the midfield all the time, and I don't want to miss out on that. Personally, a 245k young man playing on ball would be absolutely wonderful, saving money and getting some great scores in the process. Someone who hasn't been lining up very well, really trying to fight for his spot in the side, Matt Flynn. A lot of people were very optimistic about this guy early on in the preseason, almost trying to convince themselves that there's no way this guy isn't the number one ruck over there at the Eagles. Look, he hasn't spent much time in my Supercoach side because it was never going to be a foregone conclusion fighting for that spot with BJ Williams. Also carrying a few niggles in this preseason. So it's going to be a question mark whether he even gets up for round one, but still going to keep an eye on him, because at his price point, if he does become a number one ruck, we've got him in the flex because so many people like to have him in their flex position. We're going to see whether or not he even gets up.
Yeah, it's hard to ignore an R1 kind of under 300k. I mean, we had Briggs last year. We've had other players, heck, Witts a few years ago when he first came over from Collingwood. So, yeah, could work out, could not work out. Big wait and see. But you could do a lot worse than Matt Flynn.
Exactly. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is almost a full team, basically, worth of players that we are going to be looking at over these preseason practice games. If there is anyone that you think that we have missed that is a very glaring, obvious person, please let us know in the comments down below, and we'll certainly make sure that we keep an eye on them as well.
Guys, we've got our Swordplay season guide as well. Centre Bounce 10, all capital letters. That's Centre Bounce 10. You know what I'm doing. Joe's done some fantastic work there talking about Essendon. All the money that we would make goes straight back to you guys. 10% off as well, being Centre Bounce 10. So, if you guys need some more information, let other people do the work, like we say, Joe. And then you can end up reaping the rewards.
Exactly, 100%. We've also got our league code as well to join our Centre Bounce League. Of course, we have some wonderful prizes to be won as we do every single year. If you win it all, you get to have a jersey of your choice. If you have the highest individual score for the year in any particular week, you do get 2 general admission tickets to a game. And if you win neither of those things, you're still up for a prize. If you win our little spin the wheel RNG thing, you get an AFL store voucher. So join us in the league, as well as hitting us up on the Centre Bounce 10 with the Swordplay season guide.
Guys, we've got a lot of content coming out over the next few weeks. We'll go through all the preseason games. The guys that, hey, looked good to us and the ones that didn't. I think it's just under 30 days until Supercoach really does start with round 0. Hopefully you guys can be there because here at the Centre Bounce, we do the hard work so you guys don't have to. We'll see you on Monday live stream at 7 o'clock. We've got the squad father, Joe.
Just come on down. Bye for now.
Down.